Hi, everyone. It's Allison, and I want to give you your first tip for winning an audition. So the first thing you have to do is read what you get from the email from your agent or production house. Read it thoroughly because many of the times it's going to be a long email. Sometimes not, but sometimes it is. And all of the information on the email is really important because they want everything done just so. Just like being in school many years ago, you had to follow directions, and it's the same exact thing. So you want to read what are the specs. So the specs are, what are you supposed to, what kind of attitude are you going with? Are you going with a 25 to 35, happy, excited, energetic, or do they want somebody 35 to 40, relatable and conversational? So that's going to inform your read. So that's the first thing. So that's the specs. The second part of this is you want to label everything correctly. So much of the time, everybody has their own way of labeling, and they're going to show you, for example. So for what I do is I will copy and paste. Don't rely on your memory. A lot of times the agents and the producers are saying, we want a space here and an underscore there, a dash here. Just copy what they want, paste it, and then you can add in the rest of what your information is. But they are definitely throwing away auditions because people aren't able to follow directions, which leads me to follow the directions, because you will get something like this, which tells you all about the specs and what the gender is and the accent and the job type. And it's giving you all of this information, and you will learn how to cull through that stuff. But you have to read everything. It's really, really important. So you want to be right in order. If you don't know what you're reading for, Google it. That's what Google's about. You want to find out, well, what is this product yippity dappity do? Is it a machine, or is it a software, or is it a product? So you want to Google and get as much information as you possibly can. So the first thing is to get everything in order. So read and cull through the information so that you know what you're talking about. So your second tip is, firstly, being prepared. So are you mentally prepared? Are you in the headspace to do auditions? Are you, feeling good? Is everything correct in your mind? Are you physically prepared? And I don't mean, are you there physically? Because of course you are, but how's your body feeling? How's your voice feeling? Is it 7 in the morning when you have to have a voice that sounds a little fuller, or does it need to be raspier and tired sounding? And are you emotionally prepared? I know that when I have an audition and I'm not feeling very emotionally happy or just feeling kind of blah, the auditions do take a toll. It doesn't sound as good. And are you psychologically, again, that's kind of having to do with the emotional. Are you really ready and present, mentally, physically, psychologically, emotionally prepared? The next thing is rehearse. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Now, you don't want to over rehearse, but you do want to go through what we learned on the specs and go through it, rehearse. If you're just going to rip and read it, and I say rip and read because you're ripping off your computer and just reading it off, or maybe reading it off your monitor, you're not going to feel that that might be potentially your best job. So rehearse your copy. One of my agents used to say, if you're not making $100,000 a year, you better rehearse. And that to me is just getting it out of your mouth at least 3, 4 times, maybe 5 times. You do start to feel different pieces of the copy, and really get connected to it. Tell a story. Who are you talking to? So rehearse, rehearse, and give it your best shot. So that is my tip number 2. So if you've gone through, done your rehearsal, and you've culled how to get all your information gathering done, and now you're ready to lay it down and you do a really good take, are you able to do a second take that's different, or maybe shows a different side of you? Now, if you're not, that's completely okay. Again, those specs on the copy might say, we just want one take and that's it. So you just give them one take. But occasionally, you might have another one in the barrel. So give them a second take, as long as it's different. You don't want the exact same take with the same attitude. Of course, it's not going to be exactly the same, but you know, maybe you do something, you know, with this kind of attitude, and then all of a sudden you do one with this kind of attitude. Now that's completely different. So we want, if you have a second one in the can, great. And if not, don't worry about it. If it says do 3 takes, then do 3 takes. But do you have an alt take? And then of course you reply to your agent or whoever you're sending it to, yes, you do. Sometimes you don't have to, it'll tell you we want 1 take only or 2 takes. And sometimes it doesn't say, but if it doesn't say and you happen to have an alternate take, go for it. So there's a few little tips here. To slate or not to slate? Well, my thing is I don't slate unless I absolutely have to. But again, in the specs, it might say slate before or slate afterwards. Don't slate at all. You have to, again, go back to tip number 1, read the directions. Absolutely follow what they want. If you don't, you might have your audition trashed, or you might have your agent replying back to you saying, where's your slate? You're not supposed to slate. So you have to be very, very methodical. So to slate or not to slate, well, if I have to, I do, whether it be in the front or the back. And if I don't have to, I don't. I'd rather go right into the read if I'm able to. Another thing is audio quality. Make sure your audio quality is up to par. Now, on occasion, I will do auditions from my phone or my iPad without even a microphone if I'm in a huge rush. Not optimal. Will I get it in on time? Yes, but of course it's not optimal, but there are plenty of people who win those auditions, and it doesn't matter what the audio quality really is, but you should have good audio quality, as you know, 99.9% of the time. Finally, forget about it. Don't think about the audition. Once it's through your eyes and in your mind and out of your mouth, forget the audition ever happened. You're there to do the best job you possibly can and then move on to the next thing. It's not your job to sit and worry about it, because it's not going to do anything except drive you kind of crazy. So forget about it.